Hey guys, what's up? NPS Ready here and welcome back to another exciting visual effect tutorial. Today we are going to create something like this. Alright, we will need a couple of things and we will use molecular. I will put the download link in my video description to get that add-on. It's completely free, and we will also need the 3D model which I will download using Blender kit, which is also free for Blender. So I will mention all the links in my video description. Here I am using Blender 4.2 at the moment, and I'll go to the plus icon and choose VFX and choose motion tracking. I already created a couple of video related to 3D tracking inside Blender, but I will do it again. If you are new here, you can follow this tutorial along with me. So here I'll go to this folder and I will use this footage and I will simply drag and drop it here. I will choose prefetch. It will load this footage in Blender memory and I will make it set scene frames. It will set the end frames according to our footage. I'll go to the render properties, color management, and in view transform I will change standard so our footage original color is back. So if I will play this footage, you will notice I have a simple camera motion going on in this footage and this look really cool. And here are a couple of things which we have to do. So first let's make it normalize and just go to the tracking setting extra and make the correlation to 0.9. So we will get much more accurate tracking with this. I will change the motion model from location to perspective because here you will notice we are moving in perspective. So pretty much done. If you want, you can increase the pattern size and search size. So let me make it 80 over here and 30 over here. And now let's start tracking. So first I will try to do a couple of manual tracks. So here I'll press Ctrl and click. So now we got this, and if I'll go to the track panel here, I will get a window which help me check this portion. Once you're done, just click here and it will track this forward. So you will notice here it stopped tracking. So I'll simply go here and press G and just correct this and click one more time and boom. So you can see this is really nice. I'll go to the end and I will find one more is here and just click tracking backward and done. Let's do one more over here and tracking forward. I like this one as well as, and let's track backward. Here it stopped, so I will go one frame backward and press G and just adjust this and do it one more time. Again it stopped here, so I don't know why people find this as a hard task, but for me it's very easy. Once you know the basics, you are good to go. Okay, so this is done. So we done with 4. I will try to maybe do one more around here maybe. So let's go in this corner and just done. Go over this side and let's one over here maybe for this. Press G to move these markers. Control S and save this. So if you will notice, we have at least 9 to 10 markers in our scene, and these are pretty good. But I will also show you a automatic approach which is more faster than this. So I will go here and choose detect feature and it will try to add markers automatically, and here in this panel we will do something like distance. So I'll just reduce it to the 80, threshold 0.5 and margin 8, or let me increase the margin so we will have less. So I like this, and let's go tracking forward and at the end frame I will do it one more time and let's go back. We have a pretty crazy graph going on. I'll go to around 140 and I'll click detect feature once again. Let's click track forward and come back to the 140 frame once again and make it track backward. So I hope it will be enough. So I'll control S to save. Go to the solve panel and let me enable the focal length. So Blender will try to guess the focal length automatically, and here I will click on solve camera motion, and you will notice we have 0.38. Our goal is in the 3D tracking is to get the solve error under 1 pixel, and if you have under 0.5 pixel it is very good. But here is another approach to clean up. So let's suppose if you are doing 3D camera tracking and you have some big numbers of error, so you go to the cleanups, and here is an option called clean tracks, and here is an option called reprojection error. If I'll make it 1, it will try to find all the markers which has average error is 1 pixel, and to check that I will go to the clip display and choose info, and here you will notice it has 1.88 pixel error. So I'll make it 0.9 to try. Basically I'm trying to find some more markers which has some bad. So I guess these three the 3 to 4 are have some big numbers of error. So I will delete it and click solve camera motion once again, but this time don't enable focal length because we already got our focal length. So let's solve camera, and we have 0.32, so it pretty much enough for us to go. Next option is to create setup tracking scene, and I will go to the layout, and here you will notice we have a camera, light, plane, and a cube, and here we have a collection in foreground and background. So basically Blender set up our scene in a way so that if we will create a 3D scene in foreground collection, everything will be rendered on top of our footage and we don't have to do compositing later in any other software. But my preferred way to do 3D and render everything in alpha format, and then I will composite everything in compositing software just like After Effects. So here I will change the resolution to 1080 by 9020 because I know the resolution, and also I know the frame rate, so I'll make it 30. This is good, but this is floating, so we have to align the orientation. So I'll go to the motion tracking once again, and I will find a point which I think should be good for the origin. So I guess this middle one is pretty much fine for the origin. So here you will notice, select this point and go down into the orientation tab and click set origin, and you will notice our scene has been centered around this origin. Now I want to make this floor as a floor in Blender, so I will select at least 3 points which is placed on the ground. So I will select this one, maybe this one, this one, this one, and one over here, and just make it floor. I'll select this once again and make it set origin. So now this looks fine. I also have to tell Blender which area has which axis. So I will select this point which is straight in front of the origin. So I'll select this one and make it set x-axis. So here you will notice, if I'll go to the layout tab and if I'll enable the X-ray view, you will notice our orientation is pretty much perfect. Here I have to fix the scale as well. As to fix the scale, I will select this 2 point and just make it set scale, and if the scene has been a bit bigger, I'll just make it 2 set scale, and I like this one, maybe 2.5. so I like this one and set scale, and go to the layout, and here I'll just select this cube and just make it on top of this floor and just rotate it a bit. Here I will also enable the wireframe and a display, and you will notice our scene is perfectly tracked on the ground, and this is looking really nice. And in some scenario, if you select the camera, go to the camera properties, here is a focal length, and in some scenario, if after doing all this task still your plane and the scene is floating, on that scenario you can divide this by 1.77778, 4 times 7 and 8, and the last thing which has been left, this background and foreground stuff. So I will simply select this background and delete hierarchy, and I will go here to the background and also remove it. So now we only have the foreground, and I will also go to the compositing, and here you will notice a bunch of node going on. So basically we don't need these things, so I will delete this and I'll directly plug this into image and also in the viewer. This is it. Let's go to the layout panel and let's create another floor. And if you are worried about where is your tracking markers, to check that I'll go to the overlay panel and enable motion tracking, and here I can just down the size. So now you will notice we have perfect tracking markers and everything is looking really nice to me, and we are good to go for the next step. Now it's time to add the lighting. I try to set the lighting in starting because after that it's very easy for me to play with the 3D. So to fix the lighting, I'll go to the rendered mode and I will go here and change this to the cycles and change the device CPU to GPU. First thing you will notice, we are not able to check our background footage. To check that, we have to go inside the film and enable transparent. So now our background is back. Let's go to the environment tab, and to get the actual reflection or lighting, we shoot a 360 environment map. This one I captured with my phone, and this is where I was filming, so this will help a bit for the lighting. So I'll go to the color and choose environment texture, open, and here I will use this one, and maybe I'll just bump the strength to 2 and go here into the render properties and disable transparent so that we can check our 360 environment over here, and go here and change shader editor and change from object to world. So now I can see our 360 environment and press Ctrl T so that I can simply go to the rotation and rotate this. Very roughly I match this. Here I will blend with sun because in our scene we will notice we have sun. So here I will add a shader or maybe a mix shader, and then I'll just duplicate the background and plug this here, and in this background I'll just make the strength 1, and for this color I will use a sky texture which has sun, you will notice, but I'll just make the strength around 0.2 so that we will have the 360 environment and also our sky texture. And here is a slider, so with this I can also play. So you will notice now we are getting the highlight, shadow, and also our 360 environment. But let's play it more. And here I will go to the render properties and enable transparent. So now I can totally focus. Select the camera, go to the camera properties, viewport display, and enable passes part out, and also in the background footage just enable the opacity to 1. And now I will start rotating sun. Yes, something like this. Sun intensity, make it 0.12 or just make it 0.4. And in the sun size, if I'll make it 12, you will notice we will getting softer shadows, but we have to match with our original one, something like this. So and maybe I can just make it 0.3 for the sun because I don't want a hearts highlight. Okay, so I'm going with 0.5, and here you will notice also our shadow is black in our footage, but here we are getting something like blue. So when we will render this, we will fix this in compositing. This is pretty much it for the lighting. I'll go to the here and let's make this to the timeline. So let's play and check. So basically here I will select this cube and maybe delete it. On this plane, expand this a bit more, and here we will add our car on this ground. Here I will also apply the scale. To add our car here, we will need a 3D model of the car, and to get the 3D model I am going to use Blender kit, which I already installed in Blender. Let me enable this I button and I will search car, and here in the filter type I will choose free first. Okay, so I like this Audi R8 Sport, and I will just click and it will directly import that car over here. So let's select this empty RZ and just make it 90. Disable this wireframe. To get it composite on the floor, I will select this ground floor and go to the object data properties and go to the visibility and enable shadow catcher, and you will notice this is looking really nice. So the way I composite everything, I select the plane and go to the shader editor, and choose object, and here I'll create a new plane and rename this to the ground. And right now we have only white, and to get the reflection back on the car I will use the same video footage which we are using for the tracking and all the compositing and visual effect. I'll plug this color into the base color and you will start noticing we are getting something. I will press Ctrl T and here I will change this to the window. Here make it cyclic, auto refresh, and just make the frame 1000. You can see the reflection. So this is the process to here I can also make it shadow catcher. And here you will notice this is a bit blue, so I can also add a hue and saturation maybe here, and just boost the saturation to 2 or something like 1.5 and make the value 1.5 as well as something like this, and just select this ground and make it shadow catch. And next thing is the size. So if you like the size of car, you are ready to move to the next part, but in case if you think it's not enough, you can increase the size. So let's play and check. And also if you want to rotate this, you can just rotate it. Here why not, let's create another window. So this will be for the camera perspective, and here we can move to the 3D and just move this car in X direction, something like this. And I can also, if I want, I can also rotate this, and if you want you can scale it. So I like this overall scale and look. Alright, so I like this. You can for the more scale good scale control, you can also search on the Google what kind of a scale this car has, and based on this cube you can do it. Alright, so the next part is to separate the geometry, create a different copy for the simulation and etc. So maybe first we will simulate the smoke and then we will simulate particles. And I also have many tutorials related to smoke, fire, particle system. So I'll mention that in my video description or on this I button. You can go there and check it. And guys, by the way, we also have a course called Modern Visual Effect. You can go there and check it. Right now it has 20% discount, so you can take advantage of this and start learning visual effect. In future I will add more chapters in this, but right now it's around total 7 chapters. So yeah, you can go there and download it and use it. First I will select this main structure part. I will go to the modifier tab and here you will notice we have a mirror modifier. So first I have to apply this, and the second is this subdivision. So maybe I'll just make it a bit less. One is good, so I'll just apply this. So I have this model, and this part also I want to combine with this, so I will select and apply the mirror. Same, I will go with 1 and apply this, and I will simply select this both and Ctrl J to join them. So nothing changed. If you'll notice here, everything is the same, but now we have this whole thing. I will select this and Shift D to duplicate this, press M and move this into a new collection called smoke. And creating smoke in Blender is very easy. So this is for the smoke, and Shift D to duplicate, and this will be for the particles. Okay, so now we have both going on. So particles, I'll move this into a new collection called particles, rename this to the emitter and hide this for, and I'll also select this camera ground and ground plane and move this into the foreground. So now I will select this smoke, make sure the scale is set to 1. You can press Ctrl A and apply the scale. I will select this and go to this object and quick effect and choose quick smoke. And here, because right now we have 2 windows, so Blender will have to calculate both. So I'm going to click on this plus icon and choose a new layout so that I can only focus on one window. And I'll move this domain into the smoke collection, and I will also make this domain just down these wheels, and let me play and check. So you will notice our smoke is rising. My goal is to stay this consistent on one place, and after a particular frame this should go down, up, or somewhere around, basically leave the car, because in starting there will be a bunch of particles will be wrapped around the car and it will also leave the car after that. So that's why I'm thinking. So here is the gravity, so let me make the gravity 0 and let me play. this stay consistent, and after in positive direction it go down, and in negative it will go up. So because this is behaving kind of a opposite, because in negative it is going upward, and on the particles things, in negative the particles will go down, and in the positive the particles will go up. So I have to find balance between that. So basically on here I will make it 0 and press I for the keyframes, and here I can see the keyframe in somewhere around over 120. I will just make it something around 8 and just add a keyframe. So let me play. So you can see this is on one place. After 100 it is shrinking down, so it's fine for me. Okay, I'll go to the domain properties of this smoke, and here I will just bump the samples to 128. Go to the first frame, and now you can see the smoke. I'll also enable the adaptive domain, and in the buoyancy, density and heat I'll just make the heat 0.5. Vorticity I'll make it 0.1. I will also enable the dissolve, and the more in more details I also talked in a separate video. I will mention the link in my video description, so you can go there and watch that particular video. I will also enable the noise to get extra details, and in the strength I will make it 0.2 and just down the scale to 0 and also the time to 0, and here I will mention 269, and I will select this emitter, and now we will have the emitter work settings. So I'll go to around 100. So here I'll press I to add a keyframe. So on 100 it will keep emitting smoke, but after that it will not emit smoke. So maybe around here I'll just make it disable it, and I will press I to add a keyframe, and initial velocity I will also add 1, and let's go to the first frame, and let's select the domain, and let's make it 32 once again to check what's going on. And also I can select this, and here is an option called initial XYZ. So let me add 5 in G, and let's see if okay, so it's working. So I'll go to the 100 and just make it 0 and press I to add a keyframe, and till around 150 let's make it 5 and just add a keyframe. So let me play and see. So till here this will stay consistent, and after that it should go up. Maybe what I can do more, I can use this flow settings. I guess this is the flow, I guess, I'm not sure. Let me go to the flow. So here I'll just clear keyframes, and maybe around here let's add I, and let me play one more time to check. So this is fine, perfectly what I want. If you want, you can just move this keyframe a bit more forward like this, something like this. So this is really nice. The next thing I want to add is to turbulence force field. So here I will add a turbulence. Press M and move this into a new collection called force. Please keep this in your mind. I will use this force for the emitter. Basically this will also affect the our particles as well as. So we are using for both. Okay, so I'll move this over here, and on the strength and flow I will just leave this in starting on 100 frames. I'll press I on the size. Flow should be 1 consistent, and till here 150. The strength should go around like 15. Size will 1. So I will add keyframes, and maybe I will just move this a bit more like this. So now let's play and check. I'll also make it linear. I will select this, and let's go with the 64. Also increase the time step maximum and minimum. So for the final bake maybe I will do, but right now let's go with the 128 for the resolution, and this will maybe I will do for the rendering time. Okay, so this is 128, looks nice, and Why not, let's do the shading as well as for this, so that we will have the smoke part separate. So let's go to the rendered mode. So this is our smoke car. This is in black color, so looks nice. I can maybe make it a bit white, and if we will change the color of our car, we will also change this according to that, maybe something similar to this. I don't know, but yeah, we can do it. Here I can make the value 2 or maybe 12. Okay, so I will keep this it for now, and here I can also play with the density, like I am just making 12 or maybe 10. Control S to save it. Also enable the anisotropy a bit, and one more pro tip, I will go to the render properties and go to the volume and just make this to 5 and 256. This will help a lot in rendering. And in the light path, just make it 2, so it will catch light as well as because we are making bounces and in the volume as well as. So here now I can make it 8 or something. I like this one. Let me go to the timeline and let's bake this smoke. So I will go to the smoke domain, physics properties, and on the replay I'll just make it all, and let's bake all. You can see this is really you can see based on that turbulence we are getting some variation in these things, which is really nice. So overall I like this, and now it's time for the next part. So here I am disabling the smoke layer. I am just only keeping this domain because this is containing the smoke. Here I will select this car body, and there is a car paint, and here I will just change the color something else, something like a blue or maybe a red kind of or we can also keep the red looks also fine. And here is a pro tip, guys. Here you will notice this is not transparent, so I'll disable the motion blur here. I'll go to the film, enable transparent glass, and now this is transparent, and I'll just make it 0.15. so this looks really nice. Let's go here and let's go file, save as, and let me make it 2, so I have another copy of this. Now I will go to the particles and enable this. So this is the particles for the particle. Okay, and I'll press slash to solo this, and I will use molecular. I will mention the download link in my video description. You can go there and download it, and it's working in 4.2. So here I will use this chassis as a 2D grid. So I'll click here and it will add 2D grid. I mean the many particles around that model, and here I'm going to disable the smoke domain so we can take advantage of faster. And if I'll play, you will notice we are we are having something like this. So this is happening because I am playing this as a particles, but to simulate this accurately we have a simulation option over here. So first let's try and check what's working, and later we'll customize this setting a bit more. So let me simulate. So you can see now it's I don't want to move this, and I guess it's moving because of the turbulence. So let me stop this, and maybe that will also affect our smoke simulation. So I'll go to the turbulence. Here you can see the strength is 1 over here, which I don't want. Let's go to the first frame and just make it 0, and let's add I, and let's select this again and let me simulate. So now you will notice our particle is stay consistent and it's not moving which I want. In the molecular, I like we are playing it, and also at the same time it's baking, so it's really cool. So here you will notice the every single particles are moving, which looks good sometime, but sometime it's feel unnatural. So what I will do, let me play, and let me stop this first. So I have option called linking, so I will simply enable this. Each particle will try to connect with together, and when the force will hit, some particles will flow and some will stay consistent on its place. So let me go to the pause, and let me go to the first frame, and in the randomize broken, I will just make it high, and in the broken let's make it 1, something like this. And also I will just disable this and unsolo everything, and I'll select this original body and just make it collider. Okay, and now I'll just enable this emitter, select this and solo this. So now it should behave a bit good. So yeah, you can see after applying the collider, now you can see some particles are flowing, some are still there. This is what I want. And here you can see this is floating away and some are still there on the car. Let me pause this and let's play. I will just make this broken to point something around 2-3, so it will float maximum particles, because there are some bug. It is also adding particle inside, which I don't want, and I did not find any solution for that till yet. So like over here you can see we're also getting particles there. So once it done, you can also increase the sub step, but it will make it more slow. So here what I'm going to plan, I'm going to add 0.05 particles, so there will be much more particles. Here you can see we have a lots of particles going on. I will also just make it simulate, so it will simulate this, and with I will show you a different way to randomize the scale of the particles, and will control the size, etc. So once you are done with all the settings, you just need to simulate it and wait for it, and this will bake everything. So simulate. Okay, so the simulation has been baked. Okay, and you will notice we still have some particles and some are under the hood basically. So yeah, and let me play and check. So this is how it will start. And one thing I just forget to do is to add our ground plane as a collision, so that particles which are floating and starting will also interact on the ground, like this one. So if you want, you can just do it. Let me unsolo this and let me go to camera perspective, and also enable the smoke domain, and let me play, and this is how it will start. Looking nice, man. And after this it will go up. Looking good. Okay, so let me and guys, if you will go to the rendered mode, the particles will not visible. So the next step is go to the tools and click convert to geo node, and it will add one more here, and just move this into the our layer, and now you will notice our particles are visible. So hide the emitter for now, and also hide the smoke domain, and go to the file and save incremental, and I will select this emitter geo instance and change this to the geometry node editor, and let's solo this for now so we can focus over here. And this is very basic, so don't worry if you don't know about the geometry node. Press shift A and add instances on point node and plug it here, and then on the instances I will use icosphere and I'll just copy this radius and paste over here. And if you zoom, you will notice this icosphere. So if you like this, you can just keep it, but I want to increase the subdivision to 3. And you will also notice this hard edge. So to fix that, I will use set shade smooth and plug it here, and boom. The next thing I promised with you to fix the scale, so I will use instances scale instances and plug it here. And on the scale parameter, I will use noise, and you will notice now we have much more control for the scale. And here I will use map range, and on the noise you can see, so maybe I will use 1. And in this map range from 0 to 1, I will map the range to like increase the some size of the particles. So this will look like this. Even you can go more crazy and create particles like this. So let me unsolo and see how this is looking. So this is how it is looking. So make it 0 and let's go with the 2. What I can do more, this is just a trial I'm going to do now. I will simply first shift D to duplicate so that I have a copy. I'll go here and first let me make the origin to geometry. Select this car, shift S cursor to select it, so our cursor is in the center. Then I will select this and set origin to 3D cursor. Actually there is some issue with the origin, but no worries, here I will use 3D cursor. Basically I want to scale this car a bit in every direction, so that not like this basically. SX not too much, SY I scaled just a bit, a tiny bit, and here still you have a control to play with the size and etc. I can go very crazy like this. I can also add a color ramp if I want. And for the shading, I will use the same shading which we have for the material for the car. So here on the geometry node geo instance, I will use the car paint, and here I will use the same car paint. So now I have the same. So if I will animate one slider, everything will be changed accordingly. So let's go to the layout panel in starting and enable the rendered mode, and let's go a couple of frames forward. Let me go to the shader editor and let's change the color to something else. Like this is also looking really nice. Also let's enable the smoke domain, so you'll notice this is looking really nice. Enable the saturation. This is looking nice. I don't know what do you feel about this, but overall this is the idea for creating this visual effect. I hope you enjoy this. And the last thing, I will go here for the render settings and I will change this to the 256 samples. Denoising, I'll choose optics, and in advanced I will choose the pattern to blue noise. This is new. Light path is good. Volume I already changed, and you can use motion blur if you want, otherwise you can leave it. And rest or good, I can change this to the AGX if I want, so I can get more control. And for the passes, I will use the shadow catcher pass, and in the compositing here I will use a file output node, and in the node panel I will change this to the open EXR multi-layer, or you can use PNG, and in the here I will use color and one for the shadow. So this way our PNG will contain the color and also the shadow separately, and here I can define where I want to export, and then I can render animation and everything will be rendered accordingly. So yeah, this is the thing, but I want to use OpenEXR multi-layer. I like this, and here I will change this to the DWLL lossy. And in the smoke domain, if I want, I can just change the color to similar to these balls, you can see, or maybe something like green. Whatever I want, I can just play with that color, and I can give that color, and this will look, and I don't know, look nice or bad. So for now I will just go with the saturation white. I will go with the white, and these particles will I will use the same color. And yeah, that's it for now, and I hope you really enjoy it. Don't forget to check out our modern visual effect course. Once you finish rendering, let's import our footage, and there's double tap over here and select your first EXR or PNG file and open in .openexr sequence. Make sure this is checked on, and let's click import. First I will select the footage, drag and drop to this icon, and it will create a composition, and then I will simply drag and drop our render, and in the effect and control panel I will search extractor R, and in the layers I will choose color. And in case if you rendered in PNG, you don't have to do all this stuff, so I will make it unmult this one. Basically it will remove black issues. Here you can see, add a exposure, and here in the gamma correction I will put 2.6, and I'll just enter and rename this to the color. Control D to duplicate, and in the below layer I will change this to the shadow, so I will get the shadows back in, and in the blending mode I will choose multiply. So this is composite on top of our footage. Here you will notice our footage shadow is in black, but this has some color, so I will simply add a tint effect into the shadow one, and here I'll just make it 45, and this is pretty much good. And in the exposure, maybe I'll just make it in the shadow exposure I'll just make it black 2. So basically I don't want harsh shadow, so maybe I'll go with the 1.6 or something. So yeah, this looks nice, and here you can see this is really looking good, man. I'll select the color layer, and I will simply add a curves effect, and I will add some contrast and highlight. Next I can create a new adjustment layer on top of everything, and I can add a lumetri color, and here maybe I can just select this white balance selected, and I will select this white color, and maybe here I'll just make it -5 and 1, and here I can increase the shadows a bit and increase the contrast, also a bit highlight as well. As in the creative I will go and add the vibrance to 45, and saturation maybe 115, something like this, in case if you like the high saturation, kind of this look. Otherwise you can just make it 90 for low and realistic result. So I'll go with the 105. And in this curves menu, if you want to manipulate some colors, so I will go to the hue and hue, and here I will just try to tweak the blue into something like a cyan color, and also I can manipulate this green if I want, and if you want you can also play with this color as well as. So let's suppose if I will add some, and in last I have also color wheels, so I can play with the shadows, mid-tone and highlight, and I can choose whatever I feel looking right to me. And in last I can add some vignette, increase the midpoint, roundness and the feather. So this is before and this is after. And if I'll play, let's start with 1 frame and go all the way to around 8 seconds. Alright, so wow, these floating particles are really nice, and the smoke, the way it disappears is really nice. So overall our CGI is looking really cool, and I hope you learned something really cool, and you know how to match the lighting, how to match the reflection, and how to perform all the CGI stuff. So I guess this tutorial will help you a lot for everything from start to finish, and you can consider checking out our course if you want to know more, or you can consider subscribing our channel for more upcoming videos. You can hit the like button. So thanks for watching this video, thanks for loving. I am Interested, and I will see you next time. Until then, keep working, keep smiling, bye bye and take care.